Hey guys, it's Mr. J, and I wanted to give my thoughts on the situation over in Rochester, New York. Now, if you haven't been keeping up with how things are over there, basically, another black criminal was shot while resisting arrest by the police. The criminal's name was Daniel Prude, and even though he was still alive at the time of his arrest, the BLM over there still went to riot over him. Now, just the other day, Daniel Prude passed from his injuries. Because of this, the riots and the anti-police rhetoric have gotten so bad to the point that the entire Rochester Police Command staff just quit overnight, leaving the police department in a panic. Now, I actually know a couple of friends over in Rochester, and although I haven't heard from them in a couple of years, I'm hoping that they're safe. With that said, the only way they'd really be safe is if they had a gun, or they have nearby friends or neighbors that have guns. Now, New York has been known for having some of the highest crime rates in the nation, and so far it's only getting worse. Let's take a look at some of these crime statistics in order to show you what I mean. So here we have a report from the Center for American Progress on gun violence going up to November of 2019. Now it says here that from 2008 and 2017, 9,165 people were killed with guns in New York. And from 2014 to 2018, there were 76 mass shootings, and a total of 43 people were killed and 318 were injured. Approximately 65% of the state's gun homicide victims are black. However, only 15% of the state's population is black. According to this, there's also been a history of domestic abuse involving partners with guns, as well as suicides. From 2008 to 2017, 4,614 people in New York died by gun-related suicide, meaning a gun suicide occurred every 19 hours. Now, going off of those statistics alone, you might think that New York has some pretty lax gun laws for all these crimes and these suicides to be happening. Well, you'd be wrong. So basically, the whole process in New York it's one of the most restrictive policies in the nation. It says here that if you're trying to get it, you need 2 different permits or licenses, depending on what kind of gun you're trying to get. If you're trying to get a handgun, you need a handgun license. If you're trying to get a long arms permit, like for a shotgun or a rifle, you have to get a separate one. They usually take from at minimum 3 to 6 months, but can go all the way from 8 to 10 months, or even 9 to 12. Now, aside from that, there's also fees you have to pay, $400 just to apply, and $300 to renew every 3 years. You also need photographs, birth certificates, military records, proof of citizenship, or alien registration if you're an immigrant, your military discharge papers if you served in the militaries. Basically, you have to prove that you have to give them a paper trail that you exist in order to get yourself a gun over there. And there's also different kinds of permits, but I'm not gonna get into those. Basically, you have to go through a long and tedious process just to apply. I also read that from the way these lawyers work is that you can get denied multiple times, and that it's recommended that you get a lawyer who's experienced this kind of thing to appeal it. So yeah, just like with Chicago, making it hard for people to legally obtain firearms is just going to encourage the criminals to buy them off the streets and from the black market, and it's only going to increase the amount of gun deaths and gun violence. So yeah, the best advice I can give to those who either won't or can't leave New York is to try to apply in order to get a gun permit, either for a handgun or a long gun. To paraphrase the old saying, it's going to get a lot worse before it gets better. And with this being an election year, I can promise you that everything we've seen up to this point is nothing compared to what'll happen after the election. If Trump wins, the Marxists are going to be outraged and start rioting like never before. If Biden wins, then they'll be all the more encouraged to do it. Now, while Biden did technically condemn the riots, it took him forever to do so. And with the way all these other Democrat mayors and governors have been responding to it, trust me, they support it. You can look it up for yourself if you don't believe me. They've been blaming Donald Trump, saying he's responsible for the violence, saying you're divisive, do not come to our state. They're just pinning it all on him, when it's all happening under their turf. But anyway, I'm Mr. J, and I hope you're all staying safe out there, wherever you guys are. These are crazy times we're living in. But I'm confident that there's going to be a reckoning, and that it's not going, and we won't have to wait for the last days to make it to see it so. Anyway, take care and have a great day.